Welcome back to Hybrid Theory. I'm Aurian Archive. I'm picking back up on the Riftbreakers. One of these days I will get that title right. Picking up, hopefully, right where the last screen left off. We're finishing up the last little bit of maintenance. On the home planet, headquarters planet. So I'm removing all of the barriers that I don't need, all of the weapon emplacements that I probably don't need.
Warning! Hostile creatures are closing in on our base.
Alright.
Prepare for an attack.
And here's exactly what I'm talking about. Is all of the creatures over here are now only spawning on the outskirts of the map. So they're only spawning over out here. I'm not having any spawns from the internals of the map where my actual headquarters building is placed. So where I am right now, kind of in the middle of nowhere, I probably don't need any defenses. Now, I am kind of leaving the power infrastructure in place, and I am leaving a healing infrastructure in place for the sole reason that I don't know what future versions will bring. I do know that in here under research, I do have alien technologies. And because I do have alien technologies, the possibility for an alien menace to come along and menace everything is not something that I should dismiss so easily. So, not going to dismiss the. Where's my cursor? These. As you can see, I'm really close to finishing up many of the trees here. I mean, a lot of what I've got left is basically tied to story progression. Anyway, since I don't know what will happen in a future event, it may not be a good idea to completely remove all of the defenses. Alright, I got a geothermal plant here, which means I do have a mud producing. Do I have any mud tanks nearby? About that. Using mud as this. Yes, I am. Okay. So, good. I got a clear path up the and here's some time for the auto path tracking can be a little obnoxious.
Danger! A hostile swarm is moving in on our base. They are almost upon us.
What I could do with some of these. Up, over. Alright. With as many as I've got. We've got mud 800% input. That actually seem to be going. Output this. Input. More inputs. Got a mud bank over here. Okay, so apparently I have a lot of mud being stored, but it's not actually being used for anything. Now I've apparently got 800 per second. Let's check our figures here. 800 per second input. We've almost got nothing going on up here. I know that this will does minus 100 mud per second, so I can do 8 of these. I need to have 4 spaces for pipelines on both sides, so we can go through here. Hold. Pipeline all the way across. Let's check this out. We've got water 700 in. Alright, our cultivator does minus 100 water, so we can do 7 cultivators. And our harvesting station only takes energy. One cultivator. Two cultivator. In relation to that plan, as long as I put that in. In relation to me. almost 500. Let's see. Empty space that way. Now I've got a power plant. Power plant in there. Got the cultivators now active, getting plant biomass on my home planet. So it's just you to finish it. What is that? can see is once you've eliminated a tower, I had one eliminated that was making the connection. These will just snap in to their next available connection, which is why it's kind of, I think, important to be able to tell where your redundant lines are. Just because they're not useful yet doesn't mean they may not be useful in a future event. These are holding switch. Okay. These before I do. Don't have my yes, I know. But at this point, there is no kill like it. Let's bring that up. Let's check our map. I do not scan. And now check our map. I do not scan any more war facilities. There's combat incoming. We have a chain. I have nearly the entire map covered in radars. I'm not seeing any more cobalt deposits. So I think I am ready to move on. So we set back to the home base. Some of these don't look up to the just a quick check. Everything looks okay. Got plenty of power. I got plenty of cultivators feeding the plant biomass power plant. Power plant. We are ready to go in search of more.
Research completed.
Sorry, I just had a pop. Apparently, I just sat on somebody. I am not sure what I hit. Okay. I just had a pop up that came in the spam, so I'm not sure if it was generated by. Well, I don't think it was generated. It wasn't generated by the Xbox because it didn't show on the. Oh. Settings. That's shit. Going back to if only this bloody Samsung television had a method of setting FreeSync on all the time, all the inputs. You know, I'm smarter than a television. Let me be the one to determine what the television does. It cannot outthink me. Anyway, ranting aside, so we're ready, I think, to warp out. Actually, we'll just do There's a Desert. Alright. This is the space management when you own the entire map, not generally a problem. Now that being said, as enemies increase in difficulty, having a blade of layers of offense may not be nice. Alright. And this is the power plant of sludge. Pretty much the only point here is I have lots of sludge. My input is flammable gas plus 750 and flammable gas 600 out. And over here I've got input sludge plus 3600, output minus 3000. So I'm not really sure what those errors mean because my numbers in the pipes are looking good. Plus 750 for minus 600 and plus 3600 minus 3000. Maybe there's just not enough flow rate to the pipes. Pipes don't have a flow rating, really.
Warning! I'm detecting an imminent acid eruption. Ashley, prepare yourself.
The ground is opening up in some places, and it's spewing strong acidic clouds. The acid is going to corrode everything within its range. The eruption is over.
Actually, that's an interesting question. What will my as you can see, I have lots.
I'm detecting a change in wind power. This may affect our wind turbines. This will affect wind turbine power generation.
Well, since I'm not really relying on my turbine approach, but I have no problem with profit. I have no idea what the cultivators can be possibly.
Wind power is returning to normal.
If there's something they can grab, now they're grabbing. Any feeling on these lines? Starting to show correlation. Looks like looking for nodes. See anything on these midpoints. And yeah, in case I need some water, I do have some mud generation coming off of that geothermal. My love of the distributed power systems, and my use of root radar devices. don't activate the source. Alright, my mission here is completed. I don't necessarily need to be here. Just in case I need to come back and yeah, I'd be more worried about this text if it weren't for the slight problem that it's very easy to overload this game, at least on this platform. And when you do that, like we are. We are loading in the chaos. This entire map will probably be sluggish. It looks like there are a few coal mines that it can get to. But yeah, 52 million energy being gained. Or 52 million banked. This is where I ran into the error that there just wasn't enough space to save the file. So the only reason this is still an active outpost is I can get to it without slugging all the way down. I have carbonian synthesizers going and ironanium synthesizers going, and these use a huge amount of endurance per second, minus 675 endurance per second. Now, they do produce, doesn't really, okay, it gives me +3 iron per second. Yeah, plus 3 carbonium per second. You rack up enough of these. So this is basically the reason why I'm keeping this outpost around, is it's chunking out a massive ton of energy and effectively free carbonium and ironanium. But it is so loaded down. And once I torch the outpost, then I'm pretty sure I also torch the storage that goes with it. I think I haven't actually tested it yet. Since I'm under attack, I can't. Well, this won't take long. It's actually doing this out. I'm not too terribly inclined to fix it because there's pretty much you can't take the energy banking from this planet to another planet. So although it has a massive metric ton of energy banked up and energy production capability, I'm pretty sure I can get to the point where I can do that same kind of generation without having to rely on this planet. Or now that I know a little bit more about the game, set up a more efficient generation, iron carbonium generation. It's like, yeah, you can attack, but it's not gonna work very well. It's just I have so much going on. This map is so spotty. Yeah, I was doing to get the file size under, so I was going through midpoints here and taking walls down, taking weapons down until it had saved properly again, and then I just left. So since I'm kind of
Hostile creatures are approaching our base. Get ready for battle.
And you can see about here where I started to perfect the ablative distributed defense model rather than a fence. So like now the point is just taking some of this stuff out of the move around the map at greater than 14 frames per second. Attack is over, so I can move on unless I absolutely have to. Okay, so we'll do volcanic area reconnaissance. Yeah, that was a bit leeway.
Jump successful. Warning. Temperature above safety levels. This area is hotter than we expected. My armor is going to sustain damage from the heat.
We've landed in the middle of an active volcanic area. We expected high temperatures, but not this high. The measurements from the orbital scanner were different. Something's off. We won't survive here for long.
Ashley, I'm detecting multiple temperature anomalies close to our position. It looks like my sensors are broken. The temperature suddenly drops in these areas by hundreds of degrees.
We received some anomalous readings from the orbital scanner. This might be it. We have to investigate that. This is amazing. These plants are unlike anything I've ever seen before. The temperature around them is much below the freezing temperature of water.
Ashley, moving closer to this plant, we can study it from up close and cool off in its aura.
The chemical compounds that are secreted by these plants react with the volcanic gases that are present here. This reaction sucks enormous amounts of energy from the space around it, resulting in very rapid cooling of its surroundings. It's an astonishing survival mechanism.
We can use this effect to our advantage.
The space around these plants is safe for us, so we can use it to regenerate while moving around this biome.
We should try to replicate this effect. We have to gather enough samples of this plant to research it in our lab. We can do that by cutting them down or by using the bioscanner.
I would strongly suggest using the bioscanner. It is much more effective at gathering usable samples, and it will not destroy our safety zones. You can craft it in the armory if you haven't done that already.
This growth formation is very peculiar. It's a crystal entwined in very strong vines. It looks like this life form actually cultivates this crystal.
This crystal contains a rare mineral called thirdonite. It can be used for gravitational field manipulation when combined with a powerful magnetic field. It doesn't exist on Earth.
The magnetic field in this biome is acting completely strange. It is very fitting to see this mineral here. We should definitely research these crystals further. This will allow us to gather more thirdonite and create new equipment.
Now that the panic session is over.
You finished researching thirdonite handling. The results are amazing. This mineral will allow us to craft entirely new equipment and weapons of extreme quality. The only problem is that we need to find more of this resource. Mr. Riggs, can you search for large condensations of the entwined thirdonite crystals using the orbital scanner?
Roger that, Ashley. I have located a potentially thirdonite-rich location. The rift jump coordinates are marked on the orbital scanner interface.
There's a dense ash cloud on the horizon. It's coming our way. It's going to get dark soon.
The ash cloud is upon us. Visibility is down, and air temperature is up. You wouldn't want to breathe this. Solar panels are disabled as well.
I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm actually listening for the sound of the bioscanner reflecting off of everything. Okay, I think my best bet for power right now is going to be wind turbine.
The atmosphere is clearing up. Base operations returning to nominal levels.
hearing some loud, distant explosions. A nearby volcano has just exploded. My radar is tracking a cloud of fast-moving objects heading our way. Prepare for bombardment.
Danger! Large volcanic chunks of rock are dropping from the sky. They can cause serious damage.
Like, I need to set up an outpost so at least I have a place to respawn.
The sky is getting clear. The danger is over.
Hey, apparently cold plants go away after a while.
We've gathered enough samples to study these cryoplants in our alien research laboratory.
Let's do this as soon as possible. If we can learn to replicate this effect, then we should be able to move freely around this biome.
Research completed.
Okay, I'm gonna go get some lunch. So that's chicken. Should be. In case you're wondering, it's a newer place called well, the brand name is Slim Chickens, and they're up. If you've ever heard of a franchise called Zaxby's, they're kind of up against Zaxby's now, with a wide range of dipping sauces and chicken tenders, chicken wings. Now Zaxby's has great sandwiches, but Zaxby's tenders and wings tend to be a little underwhelming. Slim Chickens has great chicken tenders, but the sandwiches and wraps are so forgettable and unappetizing. I can't even tell you what they are off the top of my head. They're that bad. However, the grace for Slim Chickens, or at least the one that opened up near here, is they offer okra. Now, the only other franchise, okay, two franchises that offer okra around here, fried okra, are Lifesaver, which is a chicken franchise. I'm not even sure. I haven't been to Lifesaver for years. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if it's still called Lifesaver. For all I know, they've been bought out. But not exactly high on my priority list. Um, the other uh, franchise is one called Cookout. Now, Cookout's, I think, a little bit more than regional size. I'm actually now morbidly curious. How big was Lifesaver and how many locations are left? Because it used to be you couldn't go up or down the eastern seaboard without seeing one. Uh, Not to mention her catchy radio ad that played on the Braves radio network. Lifesaver, you're a lifesaver, lifesaver. Can't get that out of your head. That's up there with how are we gonna get this out of your sail? Narwhal, swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion, cause he are so awesome. Doesn't even rhyme like that. Okay. Anyway, so the other franchise, and a little bit bigger, and I've seen more of them up and down, at least the Eastern Seaboard, is a brand called Cookout. Now, Cookout, there are a couple cookouts around here, and by around here, I mean like within 20 to 30 minutes drive. Uh, that are really good. Uh, but the one that's within a 10-minute drive is terrible, and I'm not like willing to spend the gas money to go grab for good okra. When there's now a also within 10-minute drive chicken place that does a really good okra. Um, so that's what I'm gonna go do for lunch, I guess. Alright, since I've already got this up on the screen, what do I think of the Halo Infinite multiplayer? Not much. Alright, fair enough. Over the years, I've taken lots of pot shots at Halo. And I go all the way back to the first Halo was not a good game. It was not. And it was so terrible that the Ballmer and Gates era Microsoft prohibited the competitor Epic Games, who had the Unreal series, from releasing an Unreal Tournament on the original Xbox. And what we got was Unreal Champions that even Epic admitted was not their best game, and they couldn't do some things with it that they wanted to, and any improvements that they could have made to make Unreal Champions a better game were basically prohibited because otherwise it would compete with Halo. That's how much of a sacred cow Halo was to Microsoft, that they were ordering contractual developers. And this is, I think, there's a tidbit very similar. This is why we actually got Gears of War uh, for the Xbox, and that Epic was being paid to put a game on uh, the Xbox platform, but it couldn't be Unreal and it couldn't compete with Halo. It had to be something completely different. So we got a third-person cover shooter, which I like Cliffy B as a person. He was a fantastic Unreal mapper. Some of his Unreal Tournament 99 maps, or Unreal Tournament 2K3 maps, brilliant. But when it came to Gears of War, it's like he forgot everything he absolutely knew about mapping. No vertical movement, uh, no. For a game that's supposedly about cover, it's atrocious cover system, especially from someone who was did some fantastic maps that are all about grabbing weapons that have bounce capabilities, flat cannon, bio cannon, and using off-angle attacks, shot cannon around the corner, or shot cannon pulse. Or if you don't understand that, the shot cannon in Unreal Tournament generally has two modes of fire. Alt mode shoots a big round ball of energy, and primary mode shoots a beam of shoots a lance beam. So that's where you got we really had a popularity of insta kill maps was gamers who would set a modifier to just set the pulse rifle to insta kill, one shot, one kill. Not a whole lot of talent on that. Anyways, but if you hit the pulse rifles, I think it was the pulse rifle, because I'm going like you had a pulse cannon. No, that was the link cannon in Unreal Tournament 2003. I want to say it was the pulse rifle in pulse rifle, you shot the alt fire, shoot a big ball of energy, you hit it with the primary fire, and you get a big catastrophic boom. And with that, you could shoot around corners and attack from odd angles. So if someone was stationed down a hallway, you could turn a corner, lob a pulse rifle ball back, shoot it, and get them edging around the corner. Or you could bounce flat cannon shells off the wall to get them. Cliffy B was built some maps that were really good at these off-angle attacks and non-direct combat scenarios. And it's like with Gears of War, you forgot everything. Anyway, so Gears of War, Halo, I was never a big fan of them. Not necessarily because of Xbox, and we've seen it recently with Microsoft corporate making some big go woke, go broke statements that the politically left crowd doesn't buy products. They're not your target market. Never have been. Never will be. People who put preferred pronouns on their live streams, they're not actual gamers. And yes, I'm taking a huge sideswipe here at the Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons, which has just gone completely obnoxious on this front. Where that kind of yeah, we're that kind of shit turns people off. It's like I want election chess for idle champions, but having to deal with go woke, go broke shit that's the gaping piles of excrement were. Oh no, I identify as no. It's I'm getting my chat. I'm turning your stream off. I'm not hanging around because you're a jerk. I'm running out of polite ways to say this. You are the problem. Get over it. Anyways, so Microsoft corporate, they still have a number of executives from the Gates and Palmer era. Those executives haven't been fired, haven't been let go, and there's a fair argument that Satya Nadella, as CEO of Microsoft, may not have the executive power to fire them because they don't have a legitimate issue to fire them on. If somebody is doing their job, then their political ideology and their what they say in public doesn't really matter. What matters is, are they doing the job or they're not doing the job? If they're not doing their job, if they can be fired because they're incompetent or they have cost the company millions or they're banging a secretary or they're doing something that is a fireable offense that is not related to go woke, go broke political ideology downfall, then Satya Nadella may not have a case to remove those drains on the company, other than the fact that they are a drain on the company. But until they actually do something that costs Microsoft uh, an obvious amount of customers, does something that costs a legal action, perform a firing offense, Satya Nadella's hands may be tied in dealing with them. And we're seeing this over at Disney the same way. There is a couple of high level executives now standing up and saying that the go woke or go broke direction Star Wars and Marvel cinematic universe have taken are untenable. It does not attract an audience. Eternals, the biggest political ideology film probably this year, is a complete flop, and everyone's citing, even indirectly, the fact that everyone was who was hired for the project was hired based on diversity, and they were hired based on, are you a lesbian or are you a gay guy, or they were there are a number of straight Anglo-Saxon Caucasian males who were perfectly capable of working on the script, doing the production work, who were qualified to make a movie, who were not hired, even though they were perfectly qualified for it, because they did not meet the diversity checklist box. There's a word for people who are not hired for that reason. It can be sexism, it can be racism, it can be bigotry. If you don't hire someone who's qualified because they don't check a box on the diversified portfolio list, but guess what? You are the bigot. You are the racist. Even El Gunis Shive, Dan Shive, who's kind of gone off the deep end on some of this, even he picked up on with his recent El Gunis Shive alternate series, EGSMT, where he's picked up where he's had Elliot and Susan talking about what it means to be a real fan, and Elliot's taking a very pragmatic, realist perspective, and Susan is being a prat, and Dan's kind of written himself in the corner that since Susan is voicing him, he's being a prat, but he's in the main comic, he's come out of this and he's gotten back on probably a more correct viewpoint. And what matters is not what you're saying, it's what you're doing. It's, are you effective in your job? It's, what do you actually believe? Do you believe that people should be allowed to do their own thing? Uh, and this is the what was her name? The Democrat nominee, Marion, or not nominee, Democrat candidate for president, Marion Williams, who was considered kind of loopy for her Wiccan. I really don't want to grab the browser and look this up because I just kind of want to go on memory because that's what most people go on. They go on memory. They go on what it felt like, the emotional impact. They don't go on exact research data, even if that data is available with for me literally just reaching over like 2 feet. Uh, but the rapid fire takeaway here is that she realized, and there's a damning statement out there, the Republican Party was nicer to her than her own party that she had aligned herself with, the Democrats. Well, who actually supports what she says she believes in? The freedom of religion, the freedom of commerce, the freedom to make your own determinations in life. It's not the Democrats, it's the Republicans. Again, going back to Disney, we're seeing this at the top level where executives are now saying and telling Bob Iger, and these are vice presidents and uh, directors who have demonstrated the ability to get Disney through tough times. They succeeded under Eisner, probably one of the worst CEOs Disney has ever had, and they're all going, you can't turn off your audience. You can't go with this leftist ideology. You can't go with this sexual ideology. You can't go with this political ideology because the actual paying customers, the people who show up in cinemas to watch this, the people who buy Disney Plus, they're not interested in it. They want to be told a good story. They want to see the heroes win. This is a big problem that Aragon and Cryptic Studios have in City of Villains. Very few people want to play the villain, but a lot of people want to play the villain turned good. But a lot of people want to play the villain who's willing to play the vigilante, play the rogue, who's not so quite morally upright and upstanding, but when things go wrong, they're still standing there. It's like, bring it. That's the kind of that anti-hero, that vigilante, that rogue spectrum. There's a lot more people who want to do that, and there's a lot more people who want to be the goody two-shoes paladin than there are the people who want to be the evil sorcerer Lick, undead Leech from Von Liechtenstein, and it really matters. And we're seeing a lot of this shaking out now because for years the culture war had been something you've only heard about from Focus on the Family, and that's pretty much been it. The cultural war has not been on the doorstep in the backyard of the average American. Well, now it is. There are more games coming out which are explicitly including politically aligned statements, and I've probably got one or two here. Probably got one or two here that are aggressively political in nature. Uh, okay, I'm not seeing any good examples of uh, none are outstanding right here that annoy they send a message that sends you the other way. But it's anyways, going all the way back to Microsoft's had a big problem with executive leadership or lack thereof. Oh, Psychonauts. Psychonauts actually, I'm not sure if they're being subtle or about this, but there's a warning that the game features intense psychological trauma in disturbing scenarios. And there is a very male on male relationship that is featured throughout the game. Now, what I don't know is if this is a backdoor slam shot at the Go Woke Go Broke crowd, and that on one hand, it seems like it's trumpeting the male on male political social ideology. But on the other hand, what if Psychonauts is actually saying this is the disturbing trauma? This is where things went wrong. That's quite deep. Puts a whole other framework on an already brilliant game that subverts so many other expectations. How deep, how deeply considered is the psychological trauma that Psychonauts 2 put forward? How much of the go woke, go broke ideology that it trumpets that the go woke, go broke crowd? And if you don't understand, if you think that going woke means you want money, then you are the go woke, go broke crowd. You will lose money. How many of those people don't understand that they're being mocked? Maybe their flaws are being pointed out. I don't. But it is an interesting over theory to Psychonauts 2 as to how much of it was deliberately constructed as a brutal takedown of Go Woke rather than a promotion of Go Woke. Something to think about. Anyways, I'm hungry, so I'm going to go all the way back to. So, how did I talk about chicken? How did I go off on a tangent about chicken and not do a Leroy Jenkins line at all? Wow. Yeah, well, that's why it's hybrid too, because eventually I'll just veer off and go down tangent after tangent after tangent. Okay. And Shang-Chi. Um, I'm not really sure what to say about the movie. It's boring. It's not the worst MCU movie by far. It's no Thor. It's no Eternals. It's not that bad. It's not in your face aggressive on a political social ideology. Problem is, I just can't tell you a thing about it. It's that boring. Anyways, so let's turn the console off and go get some actual food rather than just granola bars. I'm Aurian Archive, and I'll catch you later.